read Sri Asa Di Vaar daily, when this Asa Di Vaar is read with true devotional love, the truth is all of your hopes and desires in your life will all be fulfilled. All your false hopes, they will all automatically be eradicated. And you won't be chasing the false anymore. And your only true desire that will be left, your only true hope in your life that will be left, will be to attain this Paramatma, and that hope of yours will be fulfilled. If you add up all the saloks together and the pauria together in this Sri Asa Di Vaar, it equates to 84. Many Vidwan scholars and saints have said, if you read Sri Asa Di Vaar with true devotional love, you will be liberated from the cycle of 8.4 million lives. Satnam Sri Vaheguru Sahib Ji, ਹਰ ਜੁਗ ਜੁਗ ਭਗਤ ਉਪਾਇਆ, ਪੈਜ ਰਖਦਾ ਆਇਆ RAM ਰਾਜੇ, ਹਰ ਨਾਖਸ ਦੁਸ਼ਟ ਹਰ ਮਾਰਿਆ, ਪ੍ਰਹਿਲਾਦ ਤਰਾਇਆ, ਅਹੰਕਾਰੀਆਂ ਨਿੰਦਕਾਂ ਪਿੱਠ ਦੇ, ਨਾਮ ਦਿਓ ਮੁਖ ਲਾਇਆ, ਜਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਐਸਾ ਹਰ ਸੇਵਿਆ, ਅੰਤ ਲਏ ਛਡਾਇਆ। ਸਲੋਕ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ। ਆਪੇ ਭਾਂਡੇ ਸਾਜਿਅਨ, ਆਪੇ ਪੂਰਨ ਦੇ, ਇੱਕ ਨੀ ਦੁੱਧ ਸਮਾਈਐ, ਇੱਕ ਚੁੱਲ੍ਹੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਚੜੇ, ਇੱਕ ਨਿਹਾਲੀ ਪੈ ਸਵਨ, ਇੱਕ ਉੱਪਰ ਰਹਿਣ ਖੜੇ, ਤਿਨਾ ਸਵਾਰੇ ਨਾਨਕਾ, ਜਿਨ ਕੋ ਨਦਰ ਕਰੇ। ਮਹੱਲਾ ਦੂਜਾ। ਆਪੇ ਸਾਜੇ ਕਰੇ ਆਪ, ਜਾਈ ਪੇ ਰਖੈ ਆਪ, ਤਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੰਤ ਉਪਾਏ ਕੈ, ਦੇਖੈ ਥਾਪ ਉਥਾਪ, ਕਿਸਨੋ ਕਹੀਐ ਨਾਨਕਾ, ਸਭ ਕਿਛ ਆਪੇ ਆਪ। ਪੌੜੀ। ਵੱਡੇ ਕੀਆਂ ਵਡਿਆਈਆਂ, ਕਿਛ ਕਹਿਣ ਨਾ ਜਾਏ, ਸੋ ਕਰਤਾ ਕਾ ਦਰ ਕਰੀਮ, ਦੇ ਜੀਆਂ ਰਿਜਕ ਸੰਬਾਹੇ, ਸਾਈ ਕਾਰ ਕਮਾਵਣੀ, ਤੁਰ ਛੋਡੀ ਤਿਨੈ ਪਾਏ, ਨਾਨਕ ਏਕੀ ਬਾਹਰੀ, ਹੋਰ ਦੂਜੀ ਨਾਹੀ ਜਾਏ, ਸੋ ਕਰੇ ਜੇ ਤਿਸੈ ਰਜਾਏ, ਨਾਨਕ ਏਕੀ ਬਾਹਰੀ, ਹੋਰ ਦੂਜੀ ਨਾਹੀ ਜਾਏ, ਸੋ ਕਰੇ ਜੇ ਤਿਸੈ ਰਜਾਏ। ਸੁਧ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, in this Pavan Pavitr Paudi and with the sloks attached with it, one slok of Tan Tan Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and one slok of Tan Tan Shri Guru Angad Dev Ji Sache Paatshah, they explain to us, Pyareo, the root of all of what we've been speaking about throughout Asa Di Vaar, and if we want to say it in this way as well, the root of our path of a Bhagat, the root of this path of spirituality, Pyareo. Do not forget ever these two words. One is Raza and one is Nadar. Pyareo, Raza is that in which you walk in the will of Akal Purkh, in what pleases Akal Purkh. You accept it to be that is pleasing to you as well. You go with the flow of the hukam of Akal Purkh. You go according to that. And then another Pyareo is that when the Guru blesses you, is the blessed vision, the bakshish of Akal Purkh. These two things are the definition of the life of a true Bhagat, of a true devotee. Going and working, making the effort in the will of Akal Purkh, but not expecting anything, and yet just calling out, crying out, begging, doing the ardas for Sache Paatshah's blessings, Sache Paatshah's nadar. Sachi Galya Pyareo. If we just touch on first the Shand of Tan Tan Shri Guru Ramdas Ji Sache Paatshah, the very last pada here that is meant to be sung with the last paudi of Sri Asa Di Vaar, Guru Ramdas Ji explains using two examples. But in these two examples, they cover all the examples. How so? Pyareo, in the Yug of Satyug, there was somebody by the name of Prahlad, a great devotee of Akal Purkh. He was challenged by his father, attacked by his father, whose name was Harnakash. And then in Kaljug, there was the great devotee of Bhagat Naamdev Ji, who was attacked by, slandered by, pushed down by the Ankaris, by the people that were full of pride, saying that they are a higher caste, they are the only people worthy to worship Akal Purkh. Pyareo, even then, Akal Purkh is protecting him not just throughout this age, but throughout all of the ages. Har jug jug bhagati upaaeaa, Paj rakhda aaya Ram Raji. Akal Purkh has created these bhagats, has placed these bhagats upon this world. Akal Purkh is the creator. Akal Purkh is the doer. My Akal Purkh works through all of these bhagats as well. So wherever these bhagats go, they fall in this love. They go according to the raza of my Akal Purkh. We read at the end of the very first pauria of Sri Japji Sahib, Hukum razai chalana, Nanak likhya naal. And at the end of this pauria as well, Pyare, we will read, So kare jitse razai. Pyare, this raza, going in the will but always asking for the blessings. As it pleases Akal Purkh, we work according to the hukum that a guru has given us. We do not question. We do not doubt. No, we only go and follow this true love. Not the false love of the world. Nahi pyare, not Vashna. But true, nectar-filled, amrit-filled, ras-filled love. This path is walked by these devotees. Har jug jug bhagati upaaeaa. Paj rakhda aaya Ram Raje. Paj pyareo means honor, means robes of honor, means protection. My Akal Purkh will save the honor of those devotees throughout all ages, throughout all worlds, throughout all circumstances. Pero sachi gal, if you want your honor to be protected, learn from these examples. And the reason why Guru Ram Das Ji uses actual names here. In the previous pade, there were not names used. But in this Shand, there is names used. Names, reason being because many times in life, we look for physical examples. We need an example. We say philosophies aren't enough. And my Guru says, if you truly have any doubts, if you believe that Guru Akal Purkh cannot protect, let me give you an example. Let me give you proof that not only will Akal Purkh protect you and your honor if you walk this path of the Guru with true love, but Akal Purkh has been doing it throughout all of these ages as well. Har nakhas dusht, har marya, Prahlad taraya. Pyareo, as we all know, I'm not going to go too much into this because many have done the in-depth vichar of the story of Harnakash and Prahlad. Bhai Gurdas Ji explains, and in Gurbani it explained as well. Just to briefly touch on it, there was in the Yoga of Satjug, the king of the land who had received a var, a boon from Brahma. That was that he could not be killed by any animal or any human, not by a snake, not by a dog, not by any caste, not a Brahman, Shudra, Vash. Nor could he be killed with any type of shastar or astar, meaning any types of weapons that are thrown from a distance like a bow, an arrow, or a spear. And nor could he be killed using a shastar, meaning something that which you hold with your hand and you fight it through close combat, such as a talwar, a karpan, or an axe, or a knife. He could not be killed in that way. He could not be killed during the day, and he could not be killed during the night. So nobody could kill him when the sun is up, or nobody can kill him when the sun is down. And the fourth boon is nobody could kill him in the air, whether it's at the top of a mountains or in high altitudes or in the air itself. And nobody can kill him while it's on the ground or below the ground, in the waters or in the dirt, or while he's standing on the ground. These were the boons that were received by Harnakash from Brahma, from Akal. But he had done lots of bhakti. But Pyaro, this is not true bhakti because it was done for the wrong reason. He took this bhakti, this meditation, these powers that he obtained, and he misused them. He grew his power all over the land, And then he became so full of ankar, he thought nobody could kill him. And the only thing that is immortal is God. And if I am immortal, therefore I must be God. So all across the land he became a tyrant. He started telling everybody that you must meditate on my name. He started saying, Jale Harnakash, Thale Harnakash. Here is Harnakash, over there is Harnakash. And when it came to his own son, in his own household, his son's name was Bhagat Prehlaad, which we use this word Bhagat now, meaning a true devotee. Bhagat Prehlaad heard this, that everybody is meditating on Harnakash, Harnakash, and they're reciting this name again and again. One day in class, while he's sitting with the rest of the students, because he lived with his father, he knew that his father is not God. There is God which is omnipresent, pervading everywhere. My father did not pervade everywhere. When all the students are saying Harnakash, Harnakash at the beginning of the class, then Prahlad claps his hand, starts laughing. Even the teacher says, why are you laughing? Why are you making a joke out of this? Sanda Anamark. And Prahlad says, you are reciting not God's name. You're reciting my father's name. He is a full egotistical tyrant. Instead, let's recite this. Jale Hari, Thale Hari. Hari, my Paramatma is everywhere. My God is everywhere. And when all of the students, they joined in, these two teachers, they went and complained to Harnakash. Just cutting the story short. Harnakash went to the mother of Prahlad, said, control your child or he will have to face my sword. He will have to face my wrath. When the mother tried to explain, Prahlad still said that no, my father can do anything. I will never ever want to write my father's name. I will never ever need to study anything else. Meri patiya likh leo Shri Gopal. Nahi chodo re Baba Ram Naam. I will never ever let go of reciting the name of my Hari, of my Akal Purkh, the creator of this universe. Pyareo, the story goes where Harnakash made many efforts to kill Prahlad. To explain to Prahlad, he threw him off of a cliff, but because he was meditating on God's name, even Akal Purkh came and protected him, and all of the birds brought him up again. When he was thrown in the ocean, all of the sea creatures, they brought him back up to the shore again. When he was put on in the midst of fire, in the lap of his own aunt, the blanket that she was using to sit on, that blanket covered Prahlad, saved Prahlad, instead it burnt the aunt. Even fire could not touch him. And when Prahlad was told to go and hug a very heated pole so he would be burnt, he went and saw that a fly landed on that pole, and he said, look, my Akal Purkh, my Hari has cooled down this pole, even it looks to appear to be hot. He went and hugged the pole and nothing happened to Prahlad. And now Harnakash is furious with rage, and he pulls out his sword and says, where will your God protect you now? How will God protect you from my sword? And before he was about to kill Prahlad, full of his rage, full of his tyranny, there was a sound that came from behind him. Pyareo, at that time, through the pole, out broke the form of God. At that time, it was known to be Narsingh. Narsingh was the form that Akal Purkh God took over. It was not the form of a man, and it was not the form of an animal. It was the body of a man, but the head and certain features of a lion. Nar meaning man, Singh meaning lion. Narsingh came, roared out, and said that my protection is always upon Prahlad. Pyareo, at that time, it was not day or it was not night. It was when the sun was setting. It was dusk, or what we can say dawn as well. When the sun is not setting or the sun is not fully come up yet. Sandhya da sama. And when Harnakash was picked up by Narsingh, the form of God, he was put on the lap. He was not in the air and he was not on the ground, either he was just in between. And when Harnakash used his claws, lion's claws, to rip open the body of Harnakash, it was not using an ashtar or a shastar, it was using the claws of this Harnar Singh. In that way, even though Harnakash was so full of ego, so full of pride, but Vikho, there is nothing greater than a Kalpurk. This is why at the end of these sloks, we will be reading Vadekiyan Vadaiyan. Kich kehna jaye. Nobody can put value. Even if we say a Kalpurk is powerful, that is because we've seen God to be powerful and we use that label, that Kirtam Naam, that qualitative name for a Kalpurk. But that does not summarize fully what the Vadiyai, the greatness of God is. We cannot put that into perspective. A Kalpurk has created this entire creation and they know how to protect the devotees. Whatever they've created, they will sustain that, pyareo. But jitte ahankariyan di gal aundi hai, where these people full of pride, anger, ego, ignorance, the people that even say that we do not need God, we are God, these tyrants of the world, Sachi Galle Maya Kalpurk will come and save those devotees. Harnakash was killed at that time. Harnakash Dusht, Har Mare Harnakash the Dusht, the enemy of the devotees, was killed by a Kalpurk themselves. Prahlad Tarayan, they made Prahlad liberated from this terrifying world ocean. Took them across this world. And Pyareo, one last thing I want to touch on. Look, this world, what is the path of this devotees? The path of this devotees is not the path of this world. When a Kalpurk asked he asked Prahlad to come and join him and become one. Let's go to Sachkhand. Let's go and merge with God. Let's go to this place, because remember, Prahlad was just the age of 5 years old. Very innocently reciting God's name, fully in love with God. And when a Kalpurk said to Prahlad, let's go to Sachkhand, Prahlad said that, what about my friends? Let's go and ask my friends, because I cannot go alone. I have to ask them if they want to come with me. God said that they will not come with you. Their mind is not the mind of a true devotee. They are still indulging the pleasures of this world. They have not recited God's name. They are not walking in the will of the hukam of God. They are not asking for the blessings of God. Raza and Nadra Pyareo. Prahlad went. He asked all of his friends. Some said that I have to first listen to what my mom and dad are saying. The next friend said, but I have to finish my homework and do this next task for school. The next friend said, but I still want to play with my friends this evening. The next friend said that it is my relative's wedding coming up, so therefore we must go and attend that first. But we will go. We will go to Sachkhand. It sounds great, but we cannot go now. Pyareo, Prahlad returns, and then he goes and he asks all the birds. He asks all the animals. After asking the birds, after asking all the animals, the birds say we have to feed our children. All the cats and dogs, they say we must go and take care of our friends and family first. And at the very end, when Harnakash, Vaheguru Prehlaad, the son of Harnakash, goes to ask his friend the pig. Just remember, a 5-year-old child is asking the pig, and the pig responds. And he asks, what is in Sachkhand? What is this place of God, the court of God, the world of God like? And Prahlad says, there is everything there. It is full of bliss. Anything that you can ask for, Shatti Prakar de Pojan, all the bliss, no pains, there's nothing. Everything is 100% pure gold, meaning 100% pure form of a Kalpurk. And you become one with that. And when the pig says, because the pig lives in mud, the pig says that will there be dirt, will there be mud, will there be chikkad, will there be filth there? And Prahlad says, why would there be filth there? Because that place is so pure. And when the pig hears that there will be never any filth or gandagi there, The pig says, what's the point of me going there? I'm happy where I am. Pyaro, this is the state of these ankaris. This is the state of those people that are truly just enwrapped, stuck, entangled in the world of Maya, in the webs of Maya. They do not see past just the physical. They do not see the wondrous game and the creation of Akal Purkh, let alone the form of God and the destination which we came to this world to achieve. They do not see that. Bhagta ta sansariyan, jod kade na aaya. The path of the Bhagats is one way. The path of the sansari, the worldly people, is the other way. They only want to see worldly pleasure, but the Bhagats, Pyareo Bhagat Prehlaad, they returned back to Narsingh. And in that way, when they said that nobody will go with me, that's when Prahlad was liberated at that time. The next example used by Guru Ramdas Ji Sache Pacha, just briefly touching on it, is the example of Bhagat Naamdev Ji. Pyareo Bhagat Naamdev Ji, born in the 1300s in the state of Maharashtra. At that place, when they were born, growing up in a low caste environment, low caste family, they started hiding away from their father and hiding away from the Pandits, the other Brahmins, who were meditating and reciting God's name. He started having a Thakur, having a Murti, and he started remembering God's name in that way, saying Beetle, Beetle. And as he was reciting God's name, the wondrous acts of Akal Purkh started working around him. All the Pandits and the Brahmins used to get jealous and wonder, why is this person always in bliss? Why is God only at working and blessing this person? Pyareo, even when a time came when the father said that, why do you go and put milk in front of this Murti all the time? This innocent, beloved Namdev Ji went in front of that Murti and said, Doodh piyo Gobinde Rai, Doodh piyo mero man patiye, nahi to karko baap rasai, or else my father will get angry. Please drink my milk. I bring the milk here every day. And Pyara, the truth is, wherever the devotee calls out in true love, Akal Purkh does answer. Akal Purkh came and drank that milk. The next thing I want to touch on is when Bhagat Naamdev Ji traveled to a mandir. And at that time when he entered, they all said, Sood, Sood. They said, this person is a Sudar. He cannot enter, he cannot enter. Bhagat Naamdev Ji, with a broken heart, he took his share and he started playing. He sat on the other side of the mandir. And the truth is, wherever Akal Purkh devotee calls out, Akal Purkh will turn their face towards them and turn their back towards the Ankaris. Ankariyan nindkan pitth de. They turned, Akal Purkh turned their back to the Ankaris, those people that were so prideful, full of their ego, saying that we are the only people that can achieve liberation. This person is a low caste. That mandir used to be facing the east. The truth is, when that Bhagat Naamdev Ji sat down on the west side, on the other side, the mandir span around and he started facing Bhagat Naamdev Ji. Pyareo, this mandir is still there today. If you go and even if you ask the Pandits there today, they will explain the same stories to you. Pyareo, if you look at the makeup of the mandir, at the beginning, the way the entrance to the mandir is, it is on the east side, but the mandir itself is facing the west side. Bhagat Naamdev Ji's khadama, their sandals are there as well. Their wooden sandals are there today as well. Pyareo, the Ankaris had Akal Purkh's back turned upon them. Ankariyan nindkan pitth de, Namdev mukhlaya, they faced Bhagat Naamdev Ji. They liberated Bhagat Naamdev Ji. Truly, if you walk the path of Bhakti, Akal Purkh will protect your honor, save your honor in this world and the next world, all the worlds to come, all circumstances to come, and you will be protected constantly from all pains. You will be wearing the robes of honor and you will be liberated from this ocean of this world in which the rest of the world is drowning in. Sachi gal hai pyareo, Jan Nanak aisa har sevya ant lay shadaya. Whoever serves Akal Purkh in this same way that Bhagat Naamdev Ji, with true innocent love, walking away from the way of the world, walking towards Akal Purkh, Pyareo, nahi shodo re Baba Ram Naam. This is where we read this Shabad Pyareo. Jion jion nama har gun uchre. Bhagat jana ko dehura fire. The mandir spun and faced Bhagat Naamdev Ji. If we face a Kalpurga, become these Gurmukhs, truth is the Guru will face us as well and liberate us Antalay Shadaya. Pyareo, in this same way, look at this avastha. This is what we strive to be. And in this very first salok of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Pacha, the question was asked, who created this world and why was it created? In what way? Guru Nanak Dev Ji sitting in the city of Kartarpur, they say Slok Mahalla Pehla, Ape Pande Sajian, Ape Puran De, just like many pots and pans are created. Pyareo, in many old texts and granths and scriptures, this example of a panda is used in many, many different ways. Look at a clay pot. On the inside, there is air. On the outside, there is air. It's called Katha Akash and Maha Akash. Inside there is air, outside there is air. But there is no difference in the air. We label the air, the inside air and the outside air, just like if you're sitting inside of a room. You call this the indoors, and you then outside the house, outside the walls, or where the roof is not there, you call that outdoors. But Pyareo, the air is still the same. Only we've labeled it because the wall and the doors exist. Because the roof exists, if there was no panda, if there was no vessel, then there would be no inside and outside. The truth is, Akal Purkh is inside of your body and outside of your body, inside your mind and outside your mind, inside of this creation and outside of this creation. But this panda, this clay pot that we've created of mitti, we've created it, but who created it? Akal Purkh created it and created these humans out of that. We live in the darkness on the inside of the pots. The outside is illuminated where Akal Purkh is, but in our own ignorance, we see ourselves. But these vessels, not just human bodies, Pyareo, we look at cats, dogs, all the animals, all the pandey, all the vessels that are created in this entire creation. All of those were created by Akal Purkh. Ape Pande Sajian. You created all of these Pande. And Ape Puran De. You yourself sat inside of them. You are working through everything in this creation as well, Pyareo. If we look, all of these vichars that we've discussed through Sri Asa Di Vaar, Sachi Gal hai Pyareo. If we study Asa Di Vaar, we read Asa Di Vaar, even Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha, in the middle of a battle, they did not renounce reading Sri Asa Di Vaar at Pravar Vichoda. Read Asa Di Vaar, you will understand all of Pakhand Dakhandan. How all in this world, people that follow the path of hypocrisy, how Sache Pacha is condemning that. And Brahmanda Mandan, that the greatness, the wondrousness, the explanation of this wondrous creation. How was it made? We will understand all of Maryada inside of Sri Asa Di Vaar. Pyareo, Ape Puran De, you are the one working through that. If you are having struggles on these questions of why and how, why did God create bad people, why did God create good people, why do bad people suffer, why do good people suffer? Akal Purkh, Sache Pacha, Guru Nanak Dev Ji has explained this all to us in Sri Asa Di Vaar. Ape Puran De, oh my Akal Purkh, you are working through all of this creation inside of those Pande. Some of them you put great virtues, some of them you put negative virtues. Just like there is the raindrop that falls from the sky. The raindrop falls, and when it lands inside of the fields, it turns into plants. It gives life. When it lands inside of the mouth of the thirsty person, it gives him happiness. But when it lands inside of the mouth of a snake, that raindrop will turn into poison as well. Pyareo, in the same way, the panda is created, and through ignorance, some are led astray, and some are liberated, and some are filled with the virtues of Brahmgyan and Bhakti. Some are filled with these demerits of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ankar, Irkha, ignorance, and such. Ikni dudh samai hai, ik chulle rehn chade. Pyareo, there is two types of pots. One is that pot that the potter creates. That pot is filled with fresh milk, and it is stored in Gurbani. And milk is also compared to Amrit. How it is used. One pot is filled with this milk and is put down in a cool place. It is stored. And then there is another pot. Pyareo, there was a way that before heaters came and heating systems came into houses, they used to set a pot on top of a stove inside of a house. They used to light it in fire, and they used to keep water always boiling on top of that pot, inside of that pot. Whenever warm water would be needed, they would go inside of that pot, take out warm and hot water, use it to drink, use it to cook, use it to bathe, use it to do anything. Heat the home with that hot water, use the steam to warm the family. And cold water would be constantly poured inside of it, kind of like a boiler. But the truth is that pot is constantly burning, is constantly sitting on top of the chulla, constantly sitting on top of the fire or the stove. That pot will always be burning day and night throughout the entire cold season. That is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji here is referring to. Ikni dudh samaya, in one, there is pure milk being poured into, and some, they're constantly burning on top of stoves. Pyareo, these are vessels of our bodies. Look at some jeeves, look at some animals, look at some humans. Some are filled with the Amrit of Akal Purkh. Some are filled with Naam and Bhakti and true devotional worship, and they are constantly living in peace, and they constantly go into this state of Samadhi. They're constantly living in this imbued, drenched love of Akal Purkh. But some, on the other hand, are constantly filled with this poison, and they are constantly burning in their own desires. They're constantly burning in their own hungers. They're constantly burning in their own pains of this world. They do not receive the true Amrit from Akal Purkh. But this is the wondrous way Akal Purkh has created this. Some are filled with Amrit, some are not filled. Do not say the Akal Purkh, why did you make other people suffer? No, because Akal Purkh is the one that's working through them as well. Ape Puran De. My Akal Purkh works through all of this. My Akal Purkh, the truth is no other than Akal Purkh exists in this world. Ek nihali paiswan ek upar rehn khade. Look at nihali means a very soft cloth, silky cloth that would be laid out, and many people would sleep in great comfort. They would sleep in Shanti and Samadhi. Ek nihali paisavan, ek upar rehn khade. And on the other hand, while some are sleeping in great comforts and great pleasure, others are standing on guard and protecting them. Some have to stand the entire night. Some are sleeping the entire night away. What this is meaning is that look into this creation of these humans, or into these creations of these different pandey, these different vessels. Some of these pandey, they sleep in comfort, meaning they are blessed with this bhakti, this devotional worship of Akal Purkh. They become devotees. They walk this path of raza, hukum razai chalana, nanak likhya naal, and they're truly sleeping in comfort. They're truly living in such bliss They are constantly in the state of samadhi. They are recognizing Akal Purkh, what we call living in Brahm Gyan. Brahm dis hai, Brahm suni hai, ek vakhani hai. They only see Akal Purkh in this world, outside of this world. They have recognized that Paramatma. And on the other hand, some are still standing, some are still looking out, some are still not able to go into that same bliss. Some must always constantly be standing awake. Pyareo, Iktina Savari Nanaka, Jinko Nadar Kare, the ones that are blessed with Amrit, the ones that are filled with this true devotional worship and to have the Nadar, the vision of Akal Purkh, of the true Guru, Tina Savari, truly they are. Savari means decorated. Savari means they are made beautiful. Tina Savare Nanaka, Jinko Nadar Kare, those that have the true Nadar, the true blessing of Akal Purkh on top of them, they are celebrated, they are decorated, they are imbued with such qualities. In the court of Akal Purkh, they are praised and they become one with God. Benti Kara, this is the path of Bhakti. Sri Asa Di Vaar is explaining to us, use these examples of Bhagats and walk this path. We cannot truly praise what Akal Purkh is. We do not know that value. Instead, we beg for the blessings. Let me repeat this. We walk in the will, in the raza of Akal Purkh, and we beg for the nadar. We beg for the blessings. Don't say that I've been walking your path, making this efforts, and why haven't you blessed me? I demand for doing 30 years of seva, I demand this, nahi pyareo. And we cannot say only when you bless me, then I will be able to walk this path. Nahi pyareo. You walk the will of this path and you beg for the blessings of Akal Purkh. And then when Akal Purkh, Tina Savari Nanaka, Jinko Nadar Kare, you will truly be Savarya hoya. Mahalla Duja. Aape Saje Kare Aap. Jaye pe rakhe aap. Isari Srishti, all of these people in this creation which we spoke about, those that are burning and those that are filled with dod, those that are filled with amrit, Aape saje kare aap. You have created this entire universe. You make the game work in your own will. Jaye pe rakhe aap, and you place this creation wherever you wanted to place it. You placed it in the exact way. You placed the earth where you wanted it in accordance to the sun. You placed the trees where you wanted them according to the atmosphere. You placed the humans according to where you wanted them to be. And you placed the Ankaris in according to where you wanted the Bhagats to be. And you placed the Bhagats and the avatars to be where you wanted the Ankaris to be. They're all in your place. Nothing is out of place because you are the one that placed them all there. Aape saje kare aap, you are the doer yourself. Jai pe rakhe aap, jai pe rakhe aap. This which jant upaaeaa, dekhe thap uthap. And when you created this universe, the stars, the mandals, patala patal, lak agasa agas, you created all of this creation. In this maya, when we read in the very first pauria of Sri Asa Di Vaar, आपी ने आप साजियो, आपी ने रचियो नाओ, दुई कुदरत साजिए, कर आसन डिठो चाओ, दाता करता आप तू, तुस देवे करे बसाओ, तू जान वही सबसे दिल ऐसे जिंद कवाओ, कर आसन डिठो चाओ. In this same way, Sache Pacha is bringing that same khyal, that same concept back. This way, Jantu Upaaeaa, you created this creation through the duality of your Maya. Throughout this creation, the form, from the formless, tu sukham, hoa asthuli. From the suksham, from the formless, you became the form. In this form, you placed these jants, all of these pande, all of these vessels. This way, Jantu Upaaeaa, dekhe thap uthap, and you watch all over them. Thapana means created, uthap meaning destroyed. Talana. You created them and you destroyed them. Avan jana hukum tisai ka hukme buj samavenge pyareo. This is all within your hukum. We are born inside of your hukum, we die inside of your hukum. The earth is born inside of your hukum, the earth gets destroyed inside of your hukum. Pyareo, we walk this path of your will. Those bhagats fall in your love through your hukum, And the Ankaris, they get destroyed inside of your hukam as well. This is what your hukam is. The Ankaris will be destroyed. They will suffer. And the Bhagats, they will be liberated. This which janto upaaeaa hai. Dekha thap thap. Pyaryo, kar asan ditho chao. You watch throughout this entire creation whilst remaining through this creation, through this entire world. Kisno kahiya nanaka sab kich ape aap. Pyaro, this line right here is Brahm Avastha, is speaking through the eyes of that Brahm Beta, through the true blessed devotee of Akal Purkh that has attained that state of what we may call Chotha Pad, what we may call Brahm Gyan, what we may call Turiya Avastha, which we may call oneness or enlightenment. Kisno kahiya nanaka. So whom should we complain to? Who should we call out to? Who should we cry out to? Who should we look at something different to? The truth is, once somebody becomes a Bhagat, once somebody truly becomes great, they do not look towards the puppy and say that they are a bad person. Nahi. The bad people, the puppies, they look towards the puppies and the punnis and they say they are both bad and I am great. But once somebody has truly become blessed and they are living in this bliss of Akal Purkh, they are blessed and they do not look towards the puppies, the sinners, and say that they are bad. Kisno kahiya nanka. Whom should we call out to? Whom should we cry out to? Who should we blame? Sab kich ape aap, because everything is you. Pyaryo, when we read Vismad Nad, Vismad Ved, Vismad Ji, Vismad Pe, that is what Sachi Pacha is speaking to here. All of the Veds, all of the Rangs, all of the Roops, all of the Jis, all the differences, all the Ped, they're all this wondrousness because you are working through them. I see this as Charjita. Kudrat Dissa, Kudrat Suniya, Kudrat Pao Sukhsar, all the Kudrat, all the creation of yours. What should I call out to? Because it is all you working through this. And when I look out to it, not just the creation, but even beyond the creation which I cannot see, it is all you. All the sinners, Pyaryo, you are working through that. All the people that are devotees, you are working through them as well. All of the people that cry out in pain, you are working through them as well. All the people that are crying out to you in love, you are working through them as well. And those that do not even cry out to you, you work through them as well. Kisno kahiya nanaka, sab kich ape aap sachi galya, sara kuch tu hi vartdaya, paudi ਵੱਡੇ ਕੀਆਂ ਵਡਿਆਈਆਂ ਕਿਛ ਕਹਿਣ ਨਾ ਜਾਏ. Pyaro, sachi galya, the true praise of Paramatma cannot be described through this tongue. We read in Jap Sahib, Chakar Chehn ar Baranjat ar Paat Nehinjeh, Roop Rang ar Rekh Pek ko keh na sakat keh, Achal Murat Anapau Prakash Amatoj Keh Jai Kot Indra Indran Sai Sahan Gnijai, Tripavan Mahib Sur Nar Asur, Net Ned Ban Trin Kehat Toa Sarv Naam, Katha Kavan, Karm Naam Barnat Sumat. Through my tongue I cannot recite the greatness of yours. Through my mat I cannot. Tva Sarv Naam Katha Kavan, Karm Naam Barnat Sumat. Through your kirpa, I will recite your karam naam. We cannot limit Akal Purkh just through our mere words and our names of Akal Purkh. Pyaryo, when we say Akal Purkh is the protector, just because Akal Purkh has protected us, and we call him now the protector, we call Akal Purkh the protector, and then what do we end up saying? That Akal Purkh is great only because he is the protector? Nahi. That is just one virtue of Akal Purkh. Even that virtue is not the greatness of Akal Purkh. Nahi. Akal Purkh is much more than that. If Akal Purkh is the giver, the blesser, Data to all of us, and we say Akal Purkh, you are the Data, does that mean we only praise Akal Purkh because he is the Data, or he or she? Akal Purkh is genderless. Because Akal Purkh is the giver, then nahi Pyaryo, Akal Purkh will constantly be giving, constantly be protecting. De jiyan rajik sambahe. Because that is the nature, that is the kala of Akal Purkh. But that is not the vadiyai. Vadiyai jan vadda now. Vadiyai jan sach now. Pyareo, the greatness of Akal Purkh cannot be described with this tongue. It is so beyond, we cannot even know what the true name of Akal Purkh is. Akal Purkh has created this name. Tvaya sarv naam katha kavan karm naam barnat samat. But I praise Akal Purkh that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah is saying through their Pavan Pavitr Bani of Jap Sahib. They say, I bow down to him because he is Akalle beyond time. I bow down to him because he is the one that is the person that does the most bakshish, the Kripalu Data, Namastvang Akalle, Namastvang Kripalle. Sachi Galya, these are virtues of Akal Purkh, but this is not the greatness of Akal Purkh. Akal Purkh's greatness is not based on only the creation. Nahi. Akal Purkh's creation, Vadiyon Vadda Apar, Tera Martaba. This great darbar, this amazing creation of Akal Purkh is beyond. It is great, but that does not mean you are only great because you have created this great creation. Your colors are many, but that does not mean that you are great only because all of these colors have been created. You are beyond all of this. We cannot describe it, is what I'm trying to say. Vadde kiyan vadiyaiyan kich kehna kehna na jaye. We cannot even with 1,000 tongues, with 1,000,000 minds, whether the entire world comes together, we cannot even put 1% of the praise of the truth of Akal Purkh into perspective. Sachi galya, when we blink, pyareo, that is known as what we may call a chasa, what we call a visa. Viswe chasya kadiyan pehra, thitti vari, throughout just the vishya, chasya, through the pal. Then we create what we call the kadiyan. Then we call what we call hours, or then we call what pehrs, 3 hours. Then we call what that the day. All of these times, these years, we've created this, but it does not matter. All of time could be put together. Until the end of time, we will still all be revolving around the greatness of Akal Purkh, which cannot be put through a perspective. Vadde kiyan vadiyaiyan kich kehna kehn na jaye. It cannot be put to words. It cannot be put into perspective. But once somebody has realized that greatness, then that person does not speak through words anymore. There is no turning back from that. But even that person that is walking that path and has become one with Akal Purkh, pyareo, the greatness of that Bhagat cannot be described either. Vadde kiyan vadiyaiyan kich kehna kehn na jaye. So do not put logic. Do not put perspectives. Do not put opinions. Do not put your own intellect on top of the vadiyai and the greatness of Akal Purkh. That what is the need of God? What is the purpose of God? What will I receive out of following Akal Purkh? Nahi pyareo, nahi. This is the story of love. This is the story of bliss. This is the story of that greatness that is beyond words. Vadde kiyan vadiyaiyan kich kehna kehn na jaye. So karta ka dar kareem. Karta means the doer or the creator of this world. So karta kadar. Kadar means the malak, the master. And kareem means bakshish karne wala, the one that is the bestower of blessings, the blesser. So karta ka dar kareem, that Akal Purkh, who is the creator, the doer, the master, the owner, and the one that is bestowing the blessings. De jiyan rajik sambai. If the Akal Purkh has created all of these pande, ape pande sajiyan ape puran de. If all of these G's are created, all of these vessels are created, then de jiyas rajik sambai, Akal Purkh has put a place for them to nourish themselves, has created a way for them to attain liberation as well. They're not stuck. No, there's always a way out. They have not only put jeeves there and made them starve to death. Nahi sachi gal hai. Where there are certain beings, there is always a way in one way or another for them to attain food and their bliss and their pleasures of life as well. De Jia Rajik Sambai, a Kalpurk is the person that takes care of their creation as well. Sai Kar Kamavani, Tar Chodi Tinna Pai. Sai Kar Kamavani mean that we as Jeeves, De Jia Rajik Sambai, we all have lake, we have karma written upon us. We attain food, we receive blessings. We act only according to those lekhe that are written upon our forehead. Tur chodi tinna pai. Sai kar kamavani. We carry out those tasks. We carry out that work. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਧੁਰ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਸਤਕ ਤੇ ਲੇਖ ਲਿਖੇ ਨੇ ਧੁਰ ਛੋਡੀ ਤਿੰਨਾ ਪਾਏ ਐਂਡ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੇਖ ਲਿਖ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਦਿੱਤਾ. We've been put up into this world and we are working according to our karma. Nanak eki bahari hor duji nahi jai. There is only one Akal Purkh other than Akal Purkh. Eki bahari other than you. Eki meaning Akal Purkh, bahari meaning outside of that. There is nobody else. Kisno kahiya Nanaka sab kich ape aap. So then who should we complain to? Duji nahi jai. The Bhagats do not go towards anybody else. They realize this. There is only you. Then if you are making this game of karma work, if you are the one that created the Pandey and put the Vastu, Amrit or poison inside of them, led them astray and brought them back, Pyaryo, not even a leaf moves without the hukum of Akal Purkh. So kare. Just one thing I want to touch on. Bhagat Farid Ji. Some Vidwans even say that this body was recited at an asthan of Bhagat Farid Ji by Guru Namdev Ji. They were sitting in devotional love of Akal Purkh. As they sat, a river started to overflow and flood. The water came and started destroying the crops of the farms and it started flooding the village. The villagers all came to Bhagat Farid Ji and said, "Oh Bhagat Ji, you are a devotee of Akal Purkh. Akal Purkh will listen to you. Why don't you go and tell the river to not flood and not destroy our village?" Bhagat Farid Ji traveled to that river, stood in front of the river, looked upon the river and came back. The villagers said that, "Bhagat Farid Ji, why did you come back?" And Bhagat Farid Ji says, "Because my Akal Purkh is working through the flood and the river is not agreeing to me. I've asked the river, but the river said no." The villagers all said, "But we did not even see you say anything. You didn't even speak." Bhagat Farid Ji walked away and they said, "What was the use of us bringing you? Because you came and our intention was to get you to stop the flood from flooding our village. And instead you just looked at the river and walked back." But Pyareo, what do the villagers know? A true devotee will understand the hukum of Akal Purkh. A true devotee will know the wondrous ways that the Akal Purkh works through these rivers and the floods. And so the villagers decided, according to what Bhagat Farid Ji said, Bhagat Farid Ji said, "You must leave this village. You must go and find new home. Because so kare je tisai rajai." Whatever Akal Purkh will do is what Akal Purkh will do. This does not mean that the villagers were meant to suffer. Pero that is a different discussion for a different time. What I want you to focus on here is so kare je tisai rajai. All of Sri Asa Di Vaar, all of Sikhi is just put into these few words. Pyareo, this raza of Akal Purkh, this Bana of Akal Purkh, this is what the path of a Bhagat is. Let me repeat this again. Do not forget these things. You are walking this will. You are walking this path according to the raza, what pleases Akal Purkh, and you are begging for the nadar. You are begging for the blessings of Akal Purkh. You cannot demand the blessings. You walk the path through raza, through the will. You accept it to be and you stay must in your bliss. There is bliss inside of that raza. Hukum razai chalana, Nanak likhya naal. This is how you become the form of truth. Sachi galya, Akal Purkh Raza will always be working, and Akal Purkh will bless you when you walk that Raza. According to the will of Akal Purkh, you please Akal Purkh, and the Akal Purkh blesses you with Brahm Gyan. Akal Purkh blesses you with liberation and becoming one with God. This is the truth. Peru Bhagat Ane, Vidvana ne, great scholars, great saints, they've all said this as well. Read Sri Asa Di Vaar daily. Read Sri Asa Di Vaar. When this Asa Di Vaar is read with true devotional love, the truth is all of your hopes and desires in your life will all be fulfilled. All your false hopes, they will all automatically be eradicated. And you won't be chasing the false anymore. And your only true desire that will be left, your only true hope in your life that will be left, will be to attain this Paramatma, and that hope of yours will be fulfilled. All the hopes and the desires of the devotees will be fulfilled through readings this Sri Asa Di Vaar. If you add up all the saloks together and the pauria together in this Sri Asa Di Vaar, it equates to 84. The truth is, many Vidwan scholars and saints have said, if you read Sri Asa Di Vaar with true devotional love, you will be liberated from the cycle of 8.4 million lives. 84 lakh gear to ye sara thoda kattiya javega. And at the very end of every var, this word Shuddh is added. When Bhai Gurdas Ji would write, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Sache Paatshah, Bhai Gurdas Ji would write it, Guru Arjan Dev Ji would recite the Bani, and Guru Arjan Dev Ji would check the Bani at the end of this var. They would say Shuddh. And some scholars even have said this, that in some places where it says Shuddh or Shuddh Kiche, it's meaning the same thing, but where there is a Shuddh Rag, where it's meant to be sung in the Shuddh Sur or in the Shuddh Rag, then it's just said Shuddh. Where is it a Mishrat, or is it a combination of one Rag with another Rag, or it is using different types of suras, maybe Ragi sings, and other Vidvans in the field of music, they will know more of that. There is written Shuddh Kicha, but is referring to the same thing. Pyareo, the Shuddh is written here, is completely checked. Not one word, not one single laga matar, one letter, one vowel sound can be changed through Asa Di Vaar. Sachi Galia, you will understand all of Maryada. You will be liberated if you walk this path of love. Nothing in this world moves away or can even change its shape or move outside of the will of Akal Purkh. Follow that will of Akal Purkh and you will be blessed. Pyareo, Asa Di Vaar is read every morning. मैं ते एक अखीर ते बेनती कर दवां, हर जुग जुग भगत उपाया पैज रखदा आया राम राजे. At the end we read Nanak Aisa Sevya Antalay Shadaya. Truth is, every morning when the sun begins to rise, then Sri Asa Di Vaar, at the very end, this Shabad comes, Har Jug Jug Bhagati Upaaeaa. And in the evening when the sun begins to set, then this Shabad is read again with Sodar, with Rera Sahib. Har Jug Jug Bhagati Upaaeaa Paj Rakhda Aya. Look at the beauty amongst this as well. I just want to touch on. It was said that Harnakash could not be killed during daytime or nighttime. The truth is this ankar inside of your mind, the ignorance inside of your mind, in the morning and in the evening when you read the Shabad, Har Jug Jug Bhagati Upaaeaa, just like Nar Singh came and destroyed Harnakash, this Bani will shoot this arrow of love inside of your mind in the morning and every evening when you read Har Jug Jug Bhagati Upaaeaa Paid Rakhda Aya Ram Raje Harnakash Dust Har Marya Prahlad Taraya Akal Purkh. Not in just the morning time, not just in the evening, in between time, Akal Purkh will come and completely destroy all of your ignorance, all of your doubts, all of your fears, and all of your pains. That's why we read this body in the morning and in the evening every single day as well, Pyareo. Inside of the Mryada of every Dharmik Asthan, inside of every historical Gurdwara Sahib. This is all again, so kare jit se rajaye. Pyareo, while speaking, while talking, if I've said anything wrong, if I've made any mistakes, please have it in your heart to forgive me. I'm just a student. I'm just a young child that's trying to learn. Through your meher, through your bakshish, through your prerna, we can continue this seva, not just throughout this vichar, but throughout all of Sri Asa Di Vaar, throughout all of these 25 videos. If I've made any mistakes, please forgive me. So sari sangat gaj vaj ke fateh bulao ji. Vaheguru Ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki fateh.